A shallow breath, a choked gasp, the crunch of gravel under dead weight. Somewhere in the darkness, a slow drip of blood onto sun-baked earth. Mary Vincent was alive, but not for long. The ravine swallowed her whole, its steep walls offering no mercy, no escape. Her arms? Gone. The pain was a white-hot scream trapped in her throat, her body shattered, her skin slick with dirt and copper. Above her, the fading laughter of a man who knew the wilderness would finish what he started. The coyotes would come first, then the vultures, and by the time the first hiker stumbled upon the scene, there would be nothing left but bones and the faint lingering question, who was she? And why did they want her to disappear? Hitchhiking is the last resort of the desperate. A teenager slipping out of a bedroom window with nothing but a backpack. A drifter with no cash, just a thumb on the roadside, and hope that the next car won't leave them behind. It's freedom, or at least the illusion of it, a fleeting moment of trust between strangers, where the only currency is luck. But the road doesn't care if you're running from hell or straight into it, because for every kind soul who picks up a hitchhiker, there's another who sees only opportunity. A locked door, a diverted route, a stretch of wilderness where no one can hear a scream. The most depraved predators know this, that the open road is the perfect hunting ground. No witnesses, no traces, just empty highway stretching on, long after the taillights vanish into the dark. And in 1978, those taillights belonged to a car carrying 15-year-old Mary Vincent, a girl who, by all accounts, should have been anywhere but the side of the road that day. She was a bright, artistic teenager from Las Vegas, the kind of girl who filled sketchbooks with drawings and daydreamed about the future. But like so many kids who slipped through the cracks, home wasn't a safe place. Her parents were splitting up. The world felt unstable. And when the walls close in, the open road starts to look like an escape, no matter the cost. October 29th, 1978, sometime between 3 and 4 p.m. The highway was quiet that afternoon. Just the hum of distant engines and the dry scrape of tumbleweeds rolling across asphalt. Mary Vincent stood on the shoulder of Interstate 5 near Stockton, California, her backpack slung over one shoulder, her thumb outstretched. She was heading north. Maybe to a friend's house. Maybe just away. Cars passed. Most didn't stop. Then, a van. White. Unremarkable. The kind of vehicle you'd forget the second it left your sight. The driver was a man in his 30s, polite, with an easy smile. He asked where she was headed, said he could take her part of the way. Mary climbed in. The door closed. And for the next 45 minutes, everything was normal. October 29th, 1978, 4:37 p.m. The van rolled south on I-5, taking all the expected turns toward Los Angeles. Mary Vincent watched familiar highway markers blur past. This was normal, routine. Lawrence Singleton drove like any other middle-aged man might, his hands at 10 and 2. Then the desert called. A subtle veer east onto CA 58. Barren landscapes replacing civilization. Joshua trees standing like crooked sentinels. Mary's fingers tightened around her backpack straps. "This isn't the way," she said. Singleton just smiled. When she demanded he turn around, he obliged with unsettling calmness, pulling over near a deserted stretch outside Bakersfield. "Need to piss," he muttered. Mary saw her chance. The van door creaked open. Desert air rushed in, dry and scouring. She bent to tie her shoe, the laces trembling in her fingers. One deep breath, then the metallic shink of a tool sliding from behind the driver's seat. Mary never saw the 10-pound sledgehammer coming. Her first blow caught her mid-turn, the rusted flat face connecting with a sickening crack that echoed across the empty basin. Her body folded like a marionette with cut strings. Singleton stood over her, hammer dangling at his side. The desert held its breath. The ravine was silent. No birds, no wind, just a slow, rhythmic drip of blood seeping into dry earth. Mary Vincent lay broken among the rocks, her body a testament to calculated cruelty. The wires binding her wrists had bitten deep, leaving angry red trenches in her flesh. Her arms, what remained of them, were no longer recognizable as human limbs. The man had worked methodically, professionally, every cut, every wound placed with cold precision. He wasn't frenzied, wasn't rushed. This was something he'd done before, and when he was finished, he simply walked away. No final words, no dramatic flourish, just the crunch of his boots on gravel, fading into the distance, leaving Mary alone with the impossible weight of what had been done to her. The sun dipped lower. Shadows stretched like grasping fingers across the ravine walls. Somewhere above, a car passed on the distant highway, its engine humming. Mary's vision blurred at the edges. Her breath came in shallow, wet hitches. The pain was everywhere, in her bones, in her teeth, in the empty spaces where parts of her used to be. And then, silence. Not peace, not relief, just nothing. The kind of silence that swallows screams whole. In this ravine, beneath the indifferent gaze of the Californian sun, the scales were about to balance. Mary Vincent's story was over, her body broken, her voice silenced. Another cautionary tale buried in the dirt where no one would think to look. This is how it ends. Not with a scream, but with a whisper. Not with justice, but with absence. The world moves on. The highway keeps running. And the monsters, they find new roads, new victims. The cycle doesn't break, it just continues. But sometimes, the universe blinks. Sometimes the broken things don't stay broken. Sometimes a girl crawls out of hell on shattered elbows, drags herself through the dirt, and lives to point at the devil and say, "I know his face." This isn't where her story ends. Mary Vincent should have died in that ravine. The human body isn't meant to survive such butchery. The blood loss alone should have killed her. The shock, the agony. But Mary didn't die. She refused to. She dragged herself through the dirt, inch by excruciating inch. When the bleeding wouldn't stop, she packed her wounds with mud, a desperate instinctive act of survival. The earth itself tried to seal her gashes shut, and still she climbed, 30 feet up a sheer ravine wall, using her elbows like pitons. Her teeth gritted so hard they nearly shattered. Meanwhile, her attacker drove away, whistling. Lawrence Singleton, a man so assured of his own impunity that he didn't even bother to watch her die. Why would he? No one had ever survived his work before. The desert would erase her. The animals would scatter her. By morning there'd be nothing left but bones, and the world would keep turning, none the wiser. But Mary Vincent didn't vanish. She stumbled onto that highway like a ghost stepping back into the world of the living. Naked, mutilated, caked in blood and dirt, and uttered the words that would unravel Singleton's arrogance. "A man hurt me." It took days to identify him, weeks to build the case. But Mary remembered. He described his face, his van, the way he smiled when he thought he'd won. And when they finally dragged Singleton in, he didn't look like a monster, just a confused, middle-aged man who couldn't quite believe his luck had run out. Justice, for once, didn't look away. There are moments when the universe pauses, when fate, cold, indifferent fate, takes one look at the horrors men inflict and says, no, not this time. Mary Vincent should be dead. By every law of biology, of pain, of suffering, she had earned her rest. But something in the cosmic machinery jammed that day. Maybe it was the sheer audacity of her will. Maybe even the darkness has its limits. Or maybe some crimes are so vile that not even fate can look away. Lawrence Singleton thought he'd understood the rules, that monsters like him always win, that the world is built to forget the screams of broken girls in forgotten ravines. But he was wrong, because Mary Vincent, she didn't just survive, she became something no predator ever expects. A witness, a reckoning, living proof that monsters can, in fact, miscalculate. This isn't a story about cruelty. It's a story about the indomitable, about what happens when a victim refuses to become a ghost. Mary Vincent crawled out of hell, not for revenge, not for glory, but to whisper the most terrifying words a monster can hear. I remember. And sometimes that's enough.